Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to use chain lift if your bike has a rack or a fender, rear fender, or a rack, cargo rack, as you see here. This prevents you from using chain lift the normal way, where we first insert or mount the chain lift onto the derailleur pivot point, and then we go forward, we rotate and go forward and pick up the chain. So we can't do it that way because of the rack. So what we do instead is we do a different technique, not quite as easy, but still very doable, and still, you can get all the advantages of chain lift. So basically we want to go ahead and pick up the chain first before we mount the chain lift to the pivot point of the derailleur. So basically we get our chain lift in a flat position like this, the arm here flat, and then we make the chain pickup reach the chain. Again, the chain lift is not mounted to the derailleur. Then we just move it. Don't worry about what's happening with the chain right now, just make sure it's hooked onto the chain. We move the pivot point we move the chain lift to where now we can mount the chain lift to the pivot point of the derailleur. So now we go like that. So now we're mounted to the derailleur with the chain lift. Now what we want to do, again, this is also not the typical technique, but we want to go ahead and take your right hand and move chain lift counterclockwise, pushing the derailleur back. And we rotate this arm back. So now we're in this position here. So now we're pushing back the derailleur, and now we push the derailleur pivot, the derailleur support arm, we lock it in place. So now we have the derailleur being held back, the chain lift support arm is engaged and locked, and now we have the chain off the cassette, as you can see here. So now we go ahead and we remove the wheel as normal, on and off, and then to take the chain lift off, we basically unlock the support arm, rotate it out of the way, go ahead and rotate that forward. Now we unmount the chain lift from the derailleur, we move it to the right so that we can unhook the chain, and there we go. Now you're ready to go ride your bike. So we'll do it once again. Again, we won't mount the chain lift. We will not mount it to the derailleur as we normally do first. So we reach over. I'll do that again with the chain lift in a flat orientation. We bring the lifting arm past the upper seat stay so that the chain pickup hooks onto the chain. Now we move the chain lift device back while we pull the chain off the cassette. And we align the pin to the derailleur pivot point. Now it's mounted. Now we rotate this part of the tool while we push the derailleur back. And then we lock the support arm in place and make sure this upper arm is rotated counterclockwise. So now again, chain lift is in position, the chain is lifted off the cassette, and we can now take our wheel on and off. And if you're using it to transport your bike on and off the trainer, the smart trainer, again, at this point, you take your wheel off, you mount your bike onto the trainer, and then once it's mounted on the trainer, To take the chain lift off, you unlock this support arm, flatten the chain lift. Now we remove the chain lift off the derailleur pivot point. We move it to the right to unhook the chain, and there we go. So that's how you use chain lift on a bike with fenders or cargo rack. Thanks a lot, and happy riding.